You're a professional thief. You got 96 convictions of crimes, not counting what's about to happen here. This goes back to 1991. You've been committing crimes for 30 years now. Over 30 years.
Welcome to What Had Happened Was,
where we take a peek into actual court cases and give you commentary based on our unique perspective and experiences, and also give you informational tips and tricks to help you avoid a what had happened situation.
Before we get started, give us a thumbs up, a tasteful comment, subscribe to the channel to be notified of every video as they come out.
We have a sentence potential cap of 15 months in the state jail. Let's talk about a few things. I want you to address both parties. If you
Hey everybody, in this episode of What Had Happened Was, we're coming out of Judge Stevens Court, the Honorable Judge Stevens Court in the state of Texas. The Honorable John Stevens.
Out of Texas.
And he's doing a sentencing hearing today.
Even the gavels are bigger in Texas.
So we're going to take a peek and see what goes on with this.
be so kind. So she's looking at no less than 180 days up to 15 months. She could be placed on deferred or unadjudicated probation. Plus, she could be sentenced to 15 months.
So right now, the judge is going over her charges and everything like that, and then he's starting to talk about all the judgments that she could receive as a result of what she does. So he says she can get deferred, which means they could put it back, they could push it back or whatever, or she could get what's called unadjudicated, which means that also that they could give her a certain amount of time, and then
she won't go to jail for
she won't go to jail for it, or whatever. If she was already being held, the time that she served, they could apply it to her, and then say, okay, well, you did 3 months or whatever. We're going to apply that to the time that you have right now, and then the balance of the time you would have to serve if we have another problem with you.
In the state jail, and that could be suspended, and she could be placed on regular probation for up to 5 years. I think those are the options, right?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Go ahead. Defense.
I know that the criminal history portion of this report has a lot of events, and but it does boil down
a lot
to
of dispositions.
I'm sorry.
A lot of dispositions.
Yes.
Just not of it. It wasn't an event. It was a disposition, but I mean, it's very disturbing. But what's between the lines, between the brackets, are disturbing too.
I understand.
I mean, 50 traffic offense citations.
So she's got 50 what? 50 what?
50 traffic offenses.
50 traffic offenses.
Issued tickets and
been convicted 50
that
means that
times.
50 times. And if we spread it out over a period of 30 years, because she's in her 50s and she's over 30 years, that means at least almost twice a year she gets stopped on and she does something out of pocket and gets stopped for it, which means that those are just the amount of time she's actually gotten caught doing it.
Right.
That doesn't mean that's not the amount of time she's actually done it.
Yeah, disposition means you've been convicted.
So when you get those tickets saying that you went past the red light or whatever, and here's the other thing that a lot of people don't understand. When the light is yellow going into red and you speed up and accelerate, that's what gives you the ticket, because you were not moving at the same rate of speed. Your defense would have been, if you were moving at the same rate of speed when the light turned yellow and then red, they would say, well, that was just part of the natural flow of the traffic. But when you speed up to get past the yellow, to not get caught by the red, you've now accelerated. That's where you get the ticket.
And what you also don't realize, a ticket is an arrest. You were arrested for the summons or the violation of whatever traffic infraction it was. But instead of me handcuffing you and fingerprinting you and taking you to the station, I gave you a desk appearance ticket. So instead of going to the station, you just appear in court to answer the charges against you. That is a courtesy. It doesn't have to be like that. Which is why sometimes you see people getting pulled out of their cars and handcuffed because they give them a hard time. They decided to hell with it. I'm going to take you down to the station. Since you give me a hard time, I'm going to give you a hard time as well.
25 bad check issuances, which have or first cousins to thefts. They're in the family of theft.
So she has 25 instances that she passed a bad check. So once again, if we spread it out, that means like almost every year she passed at least one bad check, which means she knew when she wrote the check she did not have the funds to cover it, and she
Of
didn't
course you did.
pay it back either. Because you can write a check. This is where the saying "writing a check you're behind can't cash." That's where it comes from. She wrote a check and she don't have the money to cover it, and she didn't sit there and say you have a certain amount of time to deposit the money to make the money good.
Yeah, but that's not this case. That's for regular people doing regular things. In this case, she's passionate. She's doing what's called passing a fraudulent instrument. A check is considered an instrument. What she did was she knew when she handed that check and it was no good. It wasn't worth a damn what the paper was written on. Intentionally. That's the elements of any crime. Knowingly and intentionally, she did that. And depending upon what she did and where it was, it could also be a federal offense as well. Like that movie about that guy that was passing bad checks and finally got caught in France.
7 failures to appear.
That means her bench warrants are old friends and old acquaintances because when you fail to appear, that's automatically what goes out as a bench warrant. And a bench warrant's worse than the actual crime. You have a violation for a traffic infraction and don't show up in court, not even misdemeanor chasing you.
So then now it's the same thing. So once again, she did what are the 75 convictions she already had with these two things, the 50 traffic convictions, the 25 instances of bad checks, and then she had probably a court date to appear, and she didn't appear to the court date, and she didn't come back later with a reason why she didn't go to the court date. When you don't go to the court date, they called, like I said in the beginning, the judge they called, they call your thing, and then at the end of the court or whatever, and you don't appear or whatever, you have what's called a failure to appear, and then you don't sit there. Now they issue a bench warrant for you, which means you need to come down and explain why you didn't come, what happened, and they'll look sometimes to see if you're already in the system. Maybe you were already locked up, and that's why, and then they'll take care of it that way, but they want to know why you didn't show up. What happened?
If you're already in the system and they call your name and they find out, they will send the bench warrant, so they're not looking for you.
2 open out container alcohol in vehicle citations. 1 possession of drug paraphernalia. 1 violation of school compulsory law citation.
And so what it looks like, because he's saying in between the brackets. So what he's doing is he's kind of reading what you would consider to be like her criminal record, which is her history or whatever. So it looks like she's a person that speeds through, goes through red lights, blows stop signs, has alcohol in the car when it happens. She could either be speeding to a crime or speeding from a crime. She's got alcohol in the car. She's got drugs in the car. She's and it says something about compulsory school. So that means compulsory school law. That means that several times she's had to been called attention to because her children haven't been making it into school either. So each one on its own, if it was just one incident, okay. But then when you put them all together, it's horrible.
And the judge is reading all this to summarize her history of criminal offenses in order to give a fair sentencing towards her at this point.
I think if we added all of this up, let's see, 75, 82, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96 criminal disposition. 96, counting misdemeanors, what I'm considering as Class C misdemeanors in the 4 lines of multiple infractions between the 2 boxes of adult and criminal history, and then the family felony court history. 96 criminal acts. It's hard for you to say that you're innocent.
Yeah, I'm not. That was when I was young with those two.
I'm sorry. How you're here today?
I feel I was younger about
Well, what did you learn by those mistakes? You're here today. You're an adult.
He's calling her on a literally like on the carpet saying, "You're 51 years old and you've been doing things for 30 years." And she was like, "Oh, but it was when I was young." He's like, "But you in court today for something that you just did. It's not like she had a bench warrant that she's been out running for 20 years and now she got stopped by the police and all this stuff is coming in and she's like, 'Oh, Your Honor, I haven't done anything since, it's been a whole bunch of time and I haven't done anything, ever since I got into an accident, I've changed myself or whatever.'" So this is why, not to be funny, when you have these people that have and the judge starts looking at how long it's been since the last time you had a crime, how old were you the first time you got caught or whatever, and then they start looking at stuff, and this is why. And in some states, they look at everything, and some places will take into consideration, oh, this person has been trying to be a productive member of society, they've been working and whatever, and since they've come upon this problem or whatever, but which is what the defense attorney is trying to say, like, oh no, she hasn't really had any problems with her. But he's like, but she's standing before us for something she just did. So I got to look back at all the other times that you were given a chance and what you did with the chance you were given.
And you're still making bad mistakes. Okay, go ahead.
And that's what she told me, that a lot of that was when she was young and over 20 years ago. And although that doesn't mean it doesn't count, just wanted the court to know that it seems to me, if I'm looking at this correctly, the theft related events that happened, this particular case that happened in 2022, and apparently the first time that she had resorted back to that type of behavior in about 11 or 12 years.
Okay, so the timeline is, this is now November 2023 when this is taking place, and they're saying that she's just getting a sentence for this, and they're saying that the lawyer's saying, well, she hasn't had a problem. Last problem she had, I know it was in 2022, but before that, it was a long time before she had any problems. Like, everything's been cool, and the judge is like, no. He's looking at the paper.
In spite of the fact, even if that last time was 2022, this is now
2023.
Offense number 97. And that's what he's saying. This is offense 97. So you haven't learned your lesson. You haven't learned anything.
Because you went back to doing the same thing.
Something like that. It had been a good while. Not that excuses it, but it does show that she did have a break in any kind of in that kind of behavior, the theft. And I'm not sure why she chose to do this theft at this time.
So her lawyer said, I don't know why she chose this time. What, she should have waited till after Christmas to start the stealing?
She's like, oh, well, she just got bad. It's just bad timing on her part.
Yeah, she should have committed this crime after this. And no, that doesn't make any sense.
But
we don't even, you don't have a compilation of the dates of the Class C misdemeanors, do you? I mean, that's, what did we have? 80 some odd. And I can't imagine that she committed all those in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, so, and how old of a lady are you right now? I hate to ask. 71. Okay.
51.
So you're 51. That's not old.
And most of those events were when you were in your 18, 19, 20s.
Yeah.
And she does have a lot of, even in spite of that type of history, which I recognize would be the type of history that the court would want to go ahead and sentence her to state jail. We are also asking to take into consideration the physical conditions that she has now. She was evidently in a bad wreck in 2015, which caused her rib to lacerate her liver. She had surgery that They removed part of her liver, which has caused all the problems she's having now. And I think she's having another surgery, she believes, in early 2024. And as she's also in a heart failure condition, the probation officer mentions that she's needing a life vest, but she can't get it because she can't afford it.
So I looked it up on Google, and it says it's a life vest. It's sort of like a defibrillator. So what it is that it's a vest that you literally put on your body, and the only time you take it off is when you're taking a shower. And what it does is it maintains your heart rhythm. It's like it's like an outside pacemaker, and it's something that they use if you have like a sort of like a heart failure, which means like your heart rate can drop. And what it does is that it pops it back. It gives like a slight shock to your system to kind of keep your heart going. So it's like a portable heart monitor.
Okay.
And it also says that like most insurances cover it, and you probably have to go to a cardiology or whatever, and they recommend to do it or whatever. So it could be done.
Referral.
You probably need a referral, and they said most insurances cover it. So I don't know.
And she takes a long list of medications. We would ask the court to, even in spite of the prior history, to grant her probation, even if it was with a conviction, to grant her probation. I don't know much about what medical facilities and things that state jail has to offer, but she certainly is needing a lot. And
long list of medications. I don't know what that means.
Well, she's not naming any of the medications she takes, but she says she also has a liver condition. So she's taking some sort of medication. She has to have some sort of doctor to prescribe these medications, because this is not something a general doctor will do. And she has to have some sort of other doctor because she has a liver problem. So she has.
Based on that condition, you have to have a cardiologist with a specialty doctor. That's a referral. She has to have a referral, which means she does have some sort of insurance.
And the public, I don't know, her lawyer, because I don't know if it's a public defender. So this person doesn't really have a list of, it's not saying specifically what medication she's taking, and she's not talking about how often she has to take them, what she has to take them for, and if about the great hardship, because what the lawyer's trying to say is that it will be a great hardship for her to go to jail, but she's not explaining why.
She's being very specific and very vague at the same time.
No, she's not being specific, because she would have sat there. First of all, there's no way if she's taking medication, she would have to list these medications. Well, she can't take these. Well, Your Honor, if she does go into the jail, she's not going to be able to have these medications. These medications have to be taken with food. This has to be taken without, and this has to be done this. And for order to be able to stay on the regimen that the doctor has put in for her, we humbly beg the mercy, or whatever she's got to say. But she's not saying any of those things.
If the court would give her the opportunity just to be able to be on probation, address her medical conditions, not violate the law, follow the rules of the court, hopefully surprise the court that this would be a change that would please the court, that the possibility that probation might be able to help her find funding for a life vest, anything that she could gain from participating in probation physically with her illness, and also in learning to do the things she's supposed to do, which I'm not even sure what her limitations are, except that she does seem to have a lot of medical issues. We'd ask the court to let her to put her on probation, let her show the court that she can do probation, or you tell the court you can do probation. Yeah. And if she doesn't do probation, well, then she would still be able to be sent straight to state jail. But at this point, we would ask the court to let her have a chance to be out, deal with her medical conditions, and follow the law.
I didn't know blah, blah, blah was a legal term or defense strategy.
She just said blah, blah, blah. That's your client. She's not the prosecutor. She is her attorney.
Defense attorney. Yeah.
She's defending her, and even she's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So, oh my goodness, like.
Go ahead.
She's been given 3 chances at probation. She's failed each time. There's no reason for us to believe that she could successfully complete probation today. That's number one. Number two, her medical situation has been existing since 2015. It certainly didn't stop her from committing this criminal offense, so I don't think that should be a reason why we allow her to receive probation. Number three, there is no restitution that is owed here. The amount that the state asked, bumped it up, was solely just an incremental bump, if anything, from when she got her last probation revoked in 2008 and went off and did 12 months. I think we were fair in suggesting 15 months as a cap, and that's what I'm asking the court to assess.
So the defense is asking for 15 months probation. Prosecutor is asking for 15 months jail time. The last time she was given probation, the third time, she was given in 2008, and it was revoked because, again, when given the chance to do probation, she does not do it.
Which
And
means she went to jail for
12 months. 12 months. And so now he's asking to add 3 more months only, which is an increment, which is fair due to the fact that the last time was in 2008, this is now 2023.
And then she hasn't gotten it together still. Like you've been back and forth, and now you're still starting to do the same behaviors.
Yeah, same thing again.
Just when do you say blah 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 for your client? It's your
I've
client.
never, and this is on the record. This is on. This is.
I
this
know
is
the court
on
report
the
is
official
typing on
transcripts of the court. Blah blah. The
Ooh.
buffooneries at an all-time high. This is amazing.
What would you like to say, if anything?
So now the judge is just giving the defendant a chance to speak for herself. So I can't wait to hear what she's got to say.
Yeah, especially after the lawyer said blah blah blah. She definitely got to step in and say
I
something
gotta
for
hear this,
herself
'cause
because
you've now reached the what had happened was moment.
now she has to give her impassioned plea because she's fighting for her life. Basically, she's got a heart condition, she got liver problems, and she's got to fight to see if the judge is gonna have mercy for her or whatever, or he's gonna be like, you know what, they got hospitals in jail, and you just got to deal with it, like, you know.
So in spite of that, again, this is sad. It's not funny. In spite of the fact that there may have been a moment of humor or insanity, this is really sad.
Yeah, she's got to sit here now, and she stole something for her grandson. Now that she's got to do 15 months, she's 51 years old, and she went to steal something for her grandson for his birthday. She said,
I don't know what for this.
I don't know, but she could have worked 30 years and had a retirement package already. Thanks for watching this episode. Stay tuned for part 2.
And what had happened was.
Thanks for watching.
And also give us a thumbs up, like, comment, share. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified of every video as they come up. And get that algorithm going and help us build this channel in 2024.
And make sure that you don't wind up in a what had happened situation.